Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Today I'd like to go through how I made these six-sided hexagon shaped shelves. So if you're interested, stay tuned and we'll go right through it. Making these cuts is pretty simple. I set up a stop block on the miter saw to make each individual cut the same length. After making all the cuts for one shelf, I decided I needed to double check and make sure that I had my measurements correct. So here I'm pre-assembling one just to make sure that all the corners meet. Next, I set up a secondary saw that I use just to cut the beginning 35 degree cut on the first board, but as you can see, I wasn't too successful. So I got smart and I got my Rockwell holder on the other end that holds the other end of the board so I can make the cut safely. Now after the first cut, and I go to the second saw, and now I can make several cuts at one time, just one right after another. That's why I have the stop block set up so that I can be sure to make the same cut every time. And all you do is move the board, flip it, and make the cut. Here you can see a setup that I have of the two saws. My work table is to the right and my table saw is attached to my work table that's on wheels. I'll share this garage with my wife and with her car. I'm just a novice at this. I enjoy doing woodworking, and so for me, everything has to be portable. Next, I did some sanding and got ready for assembly. Now, the tricky part is getting everything lined up so you can assemble it at one time. I saw a guy on YouTube use some tape, and I'm using painter's tape here to do the same thing. This was tricky. It was harder to get the painter's tape to stay still and be in line with where you need it than it was to actually do the assembly. I'm having trouble here trying to get the painter's tape off of one finger so that I can move on to the next. After getting the painter's tape in place and getting all my blocks in place, I then used glue in between each joint. Now comes time for assembly. This is also tricky. So I tried the both ends approach and just roll it up. And as you can see, it's coming together pretty good. Now to wrangle the tape. The tape was the hardest thing to deal with because it kept sticking to other surfaces like tape is supposed to do. But eventually I got it, and it held together very good. I was somewhat surprised. The next step is optional. I used 1-inch 18 gauge brad nails because this is the first time that I've ever done this, so I wanted to make sure they stayed together. For the first time making these, I think they came out pretty good. I made 6 total, not all the same size. 2 a smaller size, 2 a medium size, and then 2 a larger size. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully this will inspire you to get out there and make something.